Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill. Mr. Beckham will be joining soon, but guess who we got this week? Yeah, the bitch is back. The Liz.
Hello, I'm back.
God, I'm so happy you're back. How are you?
Okay, I'm blinking and breathing, as I've been saying recently. Blinking and breathing. That's about all I can say.
God. So, needless to say, y'all haven't seen her for a while. Me and her talk like every single day, but nonetheless, Liz is here. And Liz, I think you're sporting something a little special tonight.
Oh, I certainly am. I have my own T-shirt on tonight.
Yes.
Very nice. Yes. I'm sitting in a super awkward position in an awkward room. The cat's on a shelf staring at me tonight. So, yeah, just kind of lounging on.
Betsy will grace us with her presence.
She probably will.
Yeah.
Yep, she probably will. She's staring at me.
And okay, so this was not coordinated. I actually was just going to be wearing this anyway, one of my shirts. So when Liz came on with hers, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
That's right. You don't always wear that. Well, if I come on, I'll try to always wear this.
Cool. As long as you don't wear a Beckham shirt. Like, I don't care what shirt from the merch thing you wear. Just don't wear a Beckham shirt.
I haven't ordered one. Don't worry. Maybe I'll get a candle, but not a shirt.
His ego is, he's going to be late, everybody. Because, gee, I wonder why. Freaking candle. What scent do I light tonight?
I was going to say, is he signing autographs somewhere? He's probably signing autographs somewhere.
Oh, probably.
All of his rabid fans are banging down his doors. Banging down something.
Oh my goodness. So we have a lot to talk about this week. I mean, to be fair, we could have done this show like on Tuesday. There was just so much happening this week. Some New England cases, some more national cases. We will get to it. There's a bit of stuff, but I have an announcement. So the link is already in the drop-down bar, but let me get it here. Danny After Dark is now on Cameo. So for those of you who are not familiar with what Cameo is, it's super cool. There are so many celebrities and any type you could, like sports athletes, musicians, TV people. Okay, my cats are like going crazy right now in the back. So if that's picking up on the mic, my apologies. But yeah, you just order personalized videos, and you could do it to yourself, or you could gift it to like a friend or a family member. It's super cool. I have given cameos and I've received cameos. So the latest one I got was actually from the singer Corvix, my dancers. I sent you that video, Liz.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, he did. That. Yeah, I choreographed it to a Corvix song, and my dancers got a cameo from him, and they showed it to me right before, like an hour before we went on stage, and I pulled up, and he's like, "Hi, Danny." I'm like, "What?"
That's amazing.
So anyway, yeah, your girl is now on Cameo. So if you want a personalized video for yourself or to give the gift of me, feel free.
I need to think of someone to send a video from you too.
You
I'll
know
think
what?
of something. I'll do it.
We're only in, I was about to say we're only in February. We're only in March, so there's a lot of birthdays ahead for the rest of the year. So start making that list.
You're right.
Christmas will be here before you know it.
I have such a funny cameo story. I know this girl who I play music with, actually. She's a professional, like music is her career.
Nice.
And she, I don't think she watches. I don't want her to be like embarrassed. I'm not going to say what her name is or anything.
No. We do not dox people.
No, not at all. So we are huge Star Trek fans together, which is really cool. Oh, yeah. This is total nerd. So she loved Jonathan Frakes is like her crush since she was like a little kid. He was Riker, like the tall guy with the beard.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Probably everyone here knows. But anyway, she loved him. She had a cardboard cutout of him when she was like in elementary school, right? So she put it away by the time she was in middle school. Long story short, she had a sleepover one time in like 6th or 7th grade with a bunch of girls, and they found it. Like they opened the closet door and they found it. And when she turned 40, her husband got her a cameo from him and told him that story. And he's like, I hear you have a cardboard cutout of someone. She showed it to me. She's like, this is partially the greatest and also the most mortifying thing that's ever happened to me. Cameo. Mm-hmm. It was so funny.
That is so funny. Oh my God. The question that I think everybody wants to know, does she still have the cardboard cutout?
I don't know. Did I ask her that? I don't even remember. I'm going to see her again in a couple weeks. And if I remember, I'm going to ask her.
Oh my, I actually want to know if she still has it.
I feel like I should have asked her that when she told me the story, but I'll check.
Oh my God. What an idea for Danny After Dark merch. A cardboard cutout. Sorry, is your cat like destroying your house?
That's Betsy. Yep. She's knocking over toys and getting on shelves. And well, your cats are destroying your house too.
Yeah. It just got quiet and that actually makes me nervous. But yeah. A cardboard cutout of Danny After Dark. I would say I would make one for Beckham, but I would be so afraid the Beckham ones would actually sell more and it would make me really upset.
Well, he's got all those fans. He'd be signing autographs on them and shipping them out all over the world, right?
Yeah, he'd be like, hey, I heard they sold out. And I'll be like, jerk, I got the notification. You're the one that bought them all.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm loving the Beckham bashing. We could literally do that all night, but I mean, we could do it all night and just skip the notes, but you know.
Hey, he ain't here yet.
I know.
That's on him.
So we will not necessarily be talking about the, and Liz actually watched some of it. What everybody wants to talk about right now is the Netflix documentary Chaos. So I have watched the full thing. Beckham needs to watch it. Liz, how far did you get?
I think I got about halfway through.
Okay. And Paul watched the whole thing. There's a lot to talk about. So Paul and Beckham will be here to do, not tonight. I will let you guys know when, because we will not be doing it on the Paulcast channel. We'll be doing it here on Danny After Dark. We'll be doing a full episode about the documentary. But Paul made a little video in the meantime. So it's already on the Paulcast YouTube channel. It's already on the Instagram page. It's already in the Facebook group. But I will be playing it now, and we'll get that out of the way. So if people kind of want to see that and get a little bit of an idea, if you have yet to watch the documentary, because again, it just came out today. So I'm going to boot me and Liz. Look at this. Did someone say Paulcast?
There he is.
Okay, Paul was invited to come on, but he said no. So yeah, we can bash Paul too. I'm totally down. All right, so I'm going to boot us. We're going to play it. It's only 1:39, so don't get too comfy leaving to go get a beverage or whatnot. And then we'll continue on with the rest of the show. So yeah, I'm going to remove us and we'll be right back.
Manson gets out of Terminal Island 2 years before the Tate murders. He begged not to be released. He said, this is my home. I want to stay here. They wouldn't let him. He's released to Los Angeles for his parole. But he immediately violates his parole and goes to the Northern District, San Francisco, and shows up there. He doesn't have permission. The officers up there are just stupefied. Like, who does he think he is?
Well, that was riveting. Oh boy. We will discuss more at a later time. Check out the documentary if you have not. I put some pictures on the Danny After Dark Instagram page today. I'll also do it on the Facebook group of I was watching it and my cat Luke was next to it, the TV, and Luke was not impressed. Luke was not impressed. Other than that, you'll have to hang in there to hear full thoughts on it. But all right, there are a bunch of people here. I have yet to see what's going on in the chat. I've been kind of watching it go by. So let's see who's here tonight. Hey, Tony Stewart, welcome. Thank you for already projecting into the universe. That will be a good show. I mean, so far, so good. Beckham's on here. Time Traveler, welcome. Capone is from the Virgin Hotel in Vegas. What are you doing there? What are you doing there? Love it. Love it. Tony Stewart says, hi, Liz. Like the shirt. I'm assuming you mean you like both of our shirts. That's what I'm going with. Hey, Tish, welcome. Beers, hello. Let's see. Corey Novak, how you doing? Good to see Liz on here. Yes, it is. K-Dog, an endless supply of content. So Danny is a celebrity now. I mean, to maybe one or two people, maybe. I think Beckham thinks he's the bigger celebrity, and yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, he does.
Let's see. Female Star Trek fans. Wow.
I feel like if you're a Star Trek fan, you should know that there's a lot of female Star Trek fans. I understand the joke, but there are a lot of us. We are nerds too. Please don't forget about us.
I'm not part of that nerd group.
Annie's like, I'm going to forget about you. She's like, I'm going to forget all about this.
No, I don't want to act like I'm part of them. I am not. I am just sticking to my crazy cat lady corner over here. Thank you. Tony Stewart would buy too. I don't know what you're referring to. Was it shirts? Or was
your
it
cardboard cutouts?
Cardboard cutout.
I think it's your cardboard cutouts.
What you would do? I don't know. Sure. And what you do with them in the privacy of your own. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
So what you need to do is make cardboard cutouts of the cats. Those will sell like hotcakes.
Oh my God.
You could donate some to a charity of our choice, perhaps of your choice.
Oh my God.
Cat cardboard cutouts. Now I would pay for those.
Oh my, one of your cat, Betsy? That would be amazing. She would charge like a pretty penny though.
Yeah, she would. She's here. She's like, you called. She's purring too. Can you hear?
No. Oh, hi, Betsy.
No. You need to stay here.
Let's see, K-Dog. Danny will be one of the presenters on the True Crime Cruise. No. There was a True Crime Cruise out of Florida that just got announced this week, or at least I heard about it this week. There's going to be so many good podcasters there. I wish I was going. Red Handed's one of them, and I love that podcast. Oh, that would be so cool.
Oh, speaking of podcasts, tell everyone what's coming up here in our area in July that I keep forgetting about, and that's pretty cool that it's happening right here.
Yes. So I actually don't have anything like I don't have it pulled up so let me quickly pull it up. Yes, because I am on the website I was at the gym when I saw it this week and I was like freaking out. So there is, and I'll do like an official post when it gets closer because July is so far out, but there is something called the True Crime Podcast Festival, and they travel each year. And this year was the Boston location. So I was like, oh, duh, I just want to go and check it out. And then I was like, well, why don't I see about getting a table? And your girl's got a table. So it will be in July. It's a full weekend, July 18th to 20th. And it says Doubletree, Boston, North Shore, but that's really Danvers, Massachusetts. So if anybody who's not from here, Danvers is 45 minutes from Boston without rush hour traffic, I'm thinking.
At the most. Yeah, probably at the most. Yeah, maybe a little less.
But in rush hour, like 3 hours. So, but yeah, I'm really excited. It has a list of already what other podcasts will be there. And yeah, I am on that. So let me get the link and post it. So if anybody's from here and are like, oh, I want to check it out. And I've never been to this. So I'm very excited for myself as well to check it out. But yeah, that will be in July, and Danny After Dark will have a booth there. So I'm really excited. So thank you, Liz, for
Sorry I sprung that on you. I didn't
No,
even.
that's fine. I just wish I had it like pulled up so I could like make it. It's not like, hold on, let me look.
I don't think before I speak. You should know. You know that by now.
And I'm the definition of that times a million. Mimi is saying, hey, good to see you. Capone, a little while back, and I actually saw this come in. Liz sounded so Canadian just then. Capone, what did she say?
I don't remember what I said that was Canadian.
Nope, we said Canadian. Paulcast is in the chat. We already know. Let's see. Donna Perry. Hello, welcome. Hey, there's Paulcast. Oh, Donna, if you're excited to see Paulcast in the chat, I'm so sorry. It's Friday night. Things should be more exciting. I'm just messing with you, Donna. I'm just messing with you. Mimi loves your cat.
Thank you. She is adorable. She's sitting behind me here purring now.
Tony Stewart, step on Liz's keyboard.
Trying to prevent that.
Oh man, yes, and then that is the link for the podcast, True Crime Podcast Festival in July. So bookmark that, and I will be discussing that like definitely later on as it gets closer. But yeah, very exciting. Okay, so let's kind of dive in. I was hoping, let's save that one for when Beckham comes. Yeah.
Yes, good idea.
Let's see. Let's start. You know what? Adam Montgomery. So for those who don't quite remember, and we will not get into the details of what happened. You can look it up. We've discussed it before. So Adam Montgomery is the New Hampshire man who was convicted of second-degree murder in the death of his daughter, Harmony Montgomery. Well, he has filed an appeal in the New Hampshire Supreme Court. So a little bit more information without getting too detailed. So Harmony was killed nearly 2 years before she was reported missing in 2021. And to this day, her body has never been found, which is just beyond upsetting. So this appeal that Adam and his defense are filing, they are taking issue with several aspects of his trial. Can I just say the trial that he refused to attend, by the way?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
I think he went one day and then he just refused to go to the rest, which
he's the biggest piece of shit.
Yeah, for real.
Awesome.
So the first concern that him and his defense team have is that there was a combination of the assault case and the murder case. So according to court filings, the defense believed that the assault charges that were tied to an incident in July 2019 should have been approached separately from the murder charge. And those Harmony's estimated, kind of estimated that she was murdered December 7th, 2019. So the defense says the prosecution used the assault case to establish a larger pattern of abuse. And during the trial, the defense requested that the cases be severed, but that request was denied. The defense is arguing that the court should also not have admitted something called bad acts evidence. Specifically, they're saying that evidence that Adam assaulted and neglected Harmony in the 2 weeks leading up to her death, and that he prevented her mother, Crystal Corey, from seeing her daughter to cover up that abuse. Obviously, this leads to what happens, but they're kind of saying none of that should have been brought in. The defense is saying, quote, this evidence was not necessary or essential for the jury to realistically evaluate the evidence about what happened to HM on or after December 9th, 2019, end quote. Can I just say the defense and him are referring to Harmony as HM? Slap in the face. They won't even say her name. All right, but let's carry on. So the defense is also questioning testimony by Kayla Montgomery, Adam Montgomery's wife, and Harmony's stepmother. They are now separated. In the appeal, the defense argues that there were, quote, credibility issues, end quote, with Kayla's testimony and that it shouldn't have been admitted. They argue that her story changed multiple times over the course of the investigation and that she had, quote, a history of dishonesty and misplaced trust, end quote. Another point, we're getting there, folks, I promise. The other point that the defense has issue with is the body camera footage that was presented at trial. The video showed an encounter between Adam and police officers on December 31st, 2021. The judge did not allow the audio from that police encounter, but did allow the actual video footage. And the defense argues that showing the video without the audio unfairly prejudiced the jury. So all of the stuff the defense is trying to get tossed, Liz, what is your thoughts? Because I know you followed this case too when it was happening.
Yeah, I did. I'm just like finishing reading through this because I didn't really catch up on this week. I feel like the credibility issues with Kayla is bullshit. I mean, I understand there's three things that they're asking for a new trial, right? Is that what they're doing? They're appealing it.
Or they want to appeal on all of these issues.
Right. I mean, I think that's bullshit. You know, if somebody's found to be lying to the court, they will face some kind of, punishment for that, obviously. After the fact, like months after the fact, complaining, oh, she's not credible. Probably half the people they had as witnesses aren't credible. I mean, Adam Montgomery is not credible. He's an absolute piece of crap. I know he didn't testify.
But he wasn't even there. Had he been there during his trial, he could have been like, that's not true. That's not true. You chose not even to attend your own trial. So you can't sit here now and be like, I have issues with what they said on the stand. Yeah.
The assault and the murder case, attaching, I don't really know enough to comment on that. I'm curious why they would have not admitted the audio from that body camera footage.
Yeah.
I mean, the cameras are pretty obvious, so it's not an issue of like being recorded unlawfully, right? I mean, those are police officers that wear them. So, I'm curious what the audio had in it that made the judge not want to admit that. So, I hope all of these get thrown out. I hope he does not get a single damn thing he's trying to appeal. I hope nothing happens. I hope he stays and rots where he is.
Agreed. Completely agreed. What kind of frustrates me is the parts where they want certain evidence to be withdrawn because, the bad acts and all of these other, alleged abuse that he did to his daughter. And now they're saying, well, it's establishing a larger pattern of abuse. DCF was involved with this case. So that information is public on that end, maybe not so much the nitty gritty, but to kind of, so let's say you want one thing of abuse not brought in, which to me doesn't make sense, but there's still so many other things because you were wrapped up with the system. The system failed Harmony, sadly, but nonetheless, there was going to be a pattern, hence why you were involved in the system. So I don't understand why they're saying that shouldn't have been brought in. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he didn't want to attend his own trial in regards to, I believe, at the sentencing, that because he was forced to go to that.
They did bring him in briefly, and I think he just smirked and they took him out, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. I believe that the state, though, offered him a lesser time or some type of leniency if they just tell us where she is so she can be laid to rest. And he wouldn't.
Yeah, and he won't.
He wouldn't. So
they're grasping. They already asked if they would sever during the trial. It looks like they asked if they would sever the cases, and the judge was like, no. So why is it going to be any different now?
Right.
They're grasping.
So yeah, we will see what happens with this. I'm with Liz on this. I'm hoping, and I'm kind of expecting it to get tossed. But again, this is his right to him and his team to appeal it. But it's frustrating on our end, and just the defense statement when they said what happened to HM,
It's gross.
You can't even say her name. It's his daughter.
Personalizing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He never cared, sadly. I'm
Nope.
sure he never cared a single bit about her.
Yeah. Oh, so obnoxious, like so infuriating. Well, we'll keep you posted on that. Few people came in the chat. Dead Wax, hey, long time no see. Look at the Manson girls up there. Screw you. He comes from the vinyl record community. So
Okay.
we go back to when I came from the Manson community. So yeah.
Nice.
Long time ago, Dead Wax. We go way back. And yes, thank you for clarifying that OJ lied. Yes. Can you tell Beckham that? Can you tell Beckham that? Firing squads. Yeah, that has been a topic of conversation this week. I have seen that. Oh, yes, Tony Stewart. We will be getting to that. Oh, I assure you. Mimi, Harmony Montgomery. Is that the little girl that was beaten to death while she... Yes. That was her. That was her. Hey, Karen Diamond. Welcome. Hope you're okay. Danny, you look... Thank you. I'm doing well. I am doing well. Thank you. And for anybody who is popping in a little late and you are relatively new and don't know who this lovely lady is, this is the Liz. So follow her on Instagram, the Liz Files. Her post about some breaking true crime news is way more in depth than I do. So on my social media. So yes, follow her account. There was a Harley podcast. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I didn't know that. So I'd be interested to check it out. All right. Oh, I don't want to do that without Beckham. You know what? When he's late, it just, you know what? We'll go in order. And when he comes in, he comes in. So next case, Sean Mickey Steins. Liz, are you familiar with this one? Do you remember when this happened?
No. Let me read the summary.
Oh, look who's in the chat. Just take your time, Beckham. No rush. It's all right. So.
Oh, the sheriff that shot the judge.
Yes.
Okay. I do know this.
I was about to say, like, you must have heard about this.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember.
Tony Stewart, Leia is in here. She's up on that cat tower. When Liz logged in, Cosmo was in the back. So they were around.
Sketchy back there.
They were around. So Mickey, the former Kentucky sheriff that is accused of shooting Letcher County District Judge Kevin Mullins. So Mickey's defense counsel told the court this week that they're preparing an insanity defense. So on February 27th, so going a little bit back, documents were filed notifying the court of their intention to present, quote, expert evidence, end quote, relating to Mickey's mental state at the time of their shooting. Quote, defendant intends to present a defense of insanity as well as a defense of extreme emotional disturbance, end quote. That was from Jeremy Bartley, his attorney. Also, quote, I think that Mr. Stein's demeanor prior to, during the deposition, and after are going to be important things to look at. The substance of what the deposition dealt with or what other people may have been concerned that this deposition dealt with can be important factors, end quote. So court documents state that the Commonwealth could request Mickey to be examined. So that is where we are with that. So not a ton of update, but some updates nonetheless. And I can't see how he wouldn't have to be examined if they're making that claim in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see about that. But yeah, so for anybody who is not quite familiar with the details, like the little bit that we know that the two of them were in the judge's chambers, or I would say office, but chambers, and the Mickey's daughter was called and she picked. So it's like, was there a relationship going on between Mickey's daughter and the judge?
Oh, that's right.
Right. So curious to see what happens, because when that phone call was made and she picked it up, she was in school.
Isn't she underage? She's underage, right?
Mm-hmm. I think was she 15 or 16 or something like that?
No.
But at the same, like, I know, like when your parents work in a certain field, like whatever that is, like you come to know their coworkers. They're just like your dad's coworkers or your mom's coworkers. So granted, her dad, was was a Kentucky sheriff, so would
Mhm.
have had contacts with the judge, but kind of weird that she had the judge's phone number in her cell phone or something. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. So we will see where this insanity defense kind of goes and any examinations that Mickey would have to do because of that. We'll see what comes of it. I don't see this trial starting for a little bit, to be honest, because I think when you do that, it kind of gets dragged out pretty long. So I don't think that'll be one we have an answer anytime soon. So we'll see on that. Corey Novak is getting Nancy. Beckham, where the fuck are you? Good question. Good question. He'll come on in like the last 10 minutes of the show and be like, what I miss. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Him. All right. So you know what? Beckham, if you're not here, then we're going to get into Karen Reed. Karen Reed. So, oh God, a lot to talk about. So I actually didn't tell Liz this. I meant to text you earlier and I forgot. So I had lunch today with an old friend, and we were at lunch talking about the Karen Reed trial. It was so much. As like the waiter was
What
coming
else?
by, I was just like,
What else would you talk about at lunch?
I know. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm sure everybody around is probably like, oh, that trial. So they have been in court this week. There was a lot that was going on. If you want to kind of get a little bit more detailed, you can obviously look it up. I'm just going to do like a quick recap. Tony Stewart, he acts like he has no idea who Karen Reed is, but he's here every single week.
I was going to say we have talked about her ad nauseum for like over a year now.
Yeah. No, you are not, Beckham. You are not backstage. Cut it out. So on Tuesday, they were in court for this. And Judge Bev told Karen's attorneys that each one of them represents the team whenever they speak or misrepresent to the court. And this kind of, there was a long thing as to why this came up. In regards to, for example, Robert Alessi, he is new to the defense team. So he's just catching up. And if he makes a statement like, I wasn't there for that, or I didn't know that statement was made, it just, I get to a little bit why Judge Bev said that. However, she took the extra step to make each one of them on the defense team stand up one by one and acknowledge that they understood this. It was like mortifying to watch. But if we want to be fair across the board, when Hank Brennan, special prosecutor, is now doing his side of it and acknowledging, well, oh, I wasn't there for that, or I wasn't there for this, Judge Bev is doing the same. It's kind of, very one-sided. But I thought it was actually pretty disrespectful the way she was just like, oh, each one of you stand up. And it was just like, come on.
Yeah, that seems really condescending.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't watch a ton of, courtroom and trials, but that seems condescending.
Yeah.
Don't they have another judge who's going to do, no, is she going to do the new trial? I'm confusing it with Brian Walsh. I think she was going to do that case, but they assigned it to someone else and pushed it, I think, because this has to be retried.
Yep. So defense attorney Robert Alessi, so he raised his voice in court this week when telling Judge Bev that he didn't disclose the payments to the experts initially because he didn't know about it. He said he disagreed with her ruling that he should be responsible for a misstatement he knew nothing about. So this is, again, kind of tied to why Judge Bev did that action earlier. Again, I don't feel it warranted that. Special prosecutor Hank Brennan revealed that the federal investigation into the case is now closed. That was not made public elsewhere, so he actually said that in court. And the reason why I slipped up on that wording is look who decided to join us.
Oh, snap. There he is. Candle and everything.
Beckham, why the hell are you late?
There's a lot going on in the world right now. I apologize. Including weather patterns are transitioning to like different types of weather happening in different types of areas. So for me, unfortunately, it's spring season and close to water portion of the United States that has been renamed officially by a certain government, which kind of gets your allergies going. So I do apologize about that.
Oh,
So like my
gotcha.
face literally hurts right now.
Oh, Beckham. I
So
feel
I'm here
bad.
though. I'm here.
Well, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Beckham, it has been several months since you've been on screen with Liz. Why don't you give her a
Yeah,
proper
no, what's up,
hello?
Liz?
What's going on?
Glad to see you.
Yeah.
Well, now that
Um,
exciting moment is out of the way.
um,
Yes, Beckham,
yeah,
what
so I
would you
guess
like to
everybody
say?
can probably figure out where I'm close to.
No, I don't know what
On the
you're
map.
talking about.
It's not the Gulf of Mexico anymore. It's the Gulf of America.
Oh, we knew what you meant.
Okay.
No, we knew what you meant.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why we groaned. We knew exactly what
Yeah.
you meant.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
don't. Is it? I don't know what it's called, but whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, Gulf of America. Yeah, which I refuse to do. So we are talking about Karen Reed. Updates from this week.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Um,
I won't like go where.
Yes.
I'm sorry if
So-
I came in while you're talking about it.
Yeah, you sure did. So a couple of quick updates with that, and then we'll throw it to you guys. So the state so Hank Brennan is also proposing that all future motions be filed under seal and all attorneys be placed under a gag order. Prosecutors are accusing the defense of violating a protective order by making a public motion that contained text messages from our all favorite Trooper Proctor that was sent to Prosecutor Lally about the closing arguments in the case. So those texts that were just released a couple of weeks ago about that should not have been made public. And sadly, David Yannetti, yes, my David Yannetti for the defense was the one that released those texts.
Right.
Oh.
They were not supposed to be made public. He said in court it was an oversight. He apologized. Why is that funny? Why is that funny?
I don't
How
know.
do you feel, Beckham? Tell us how you really feel.
I think he's
This is becoming. Oh my god. Okay, this is just going off the wheels now. Now you got one guy complaining about an unpaid bill. You got the other guys putting out evidence out there when he's not supposed to. He's like, oh, it's an oversight. You know who you sound like? You sound like Doge right now. Oh, it's an oversight. Sorry. Okay.
Beckham, don't go there.
The wheels for me have completely flown off now. I don't even know what's gonna happen anymore. Like it's just a wagon falling down a hill with a fire on it.
I love how Beckham is at this moment right now, Liz. When me, you, and the rest of the Commonwealth were at this moment, what week 2 into the trial last year?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I was giving it a chance for it to be like professional and right and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it is not. That's it. It's done. Like it's gone.
So
Everything.
the thing is, the text that David Yannetti fully acknowledged, they don't hurt the case. They
I was
don't.
going to say, what did they say? I didn't read them.
It was text from Trooper Proctor to Prosecutor Lally acknowledging, like saying, like, I'm not going to be watching the closing arguments because Alan Jackson, whatever he wrote. But it kind of made it allude that Trooper Proctor was watching the trial and all witnesses are under order and they're not supposed to watch the trial. They're supposed to just go in and do their thing. So it's one of those, okay, you got in trouble for
everybody's playing no.
So now you text the lead prosecutor basically kind of without admitting that you watched the trial, kind of stating you did. But again, Judge Bev has no issues in that.
We've already established that Proctor's not really that bright. So I'm not that surprised that he kind of continues down this path.
Yeah. It's like
dumb as hell.
But in the end, those were not supposed to be made public. So we'll see in regards to a gag order that the state is trying to put forward. What would happen in that is, how every day when Karen Reed's defense team leaves court, typically it's Alan Jackson will just say a little like something on the way out. That would mean that there's nothing going forward.
Okay.
So we'll see. Prosecutors say they also, here we go, Liz. Prosecutors also say they want to use phone records to show, quote, evidence of the defendant's statements and actions to intimidate witnesses from testifying against her as evidence of her consciousness of guilt, end quote. What that means is basically the state is claiming that Karen Read used Aiden Kearney, Turtle Boy, to intimidate witnesses. So they want phone records.
Wow.
For those of you who are not from here, not familiar with Turtle Boy, you don't need to go to him to have him do your dirty work. He just calls it like it is.
He'll do the dirty work without being told to, like.
Right.
But it kind of sounds like him and her developed some kind of, not relationship, but some kind of communications relationship, like. I don't know.
And for those who do watch his channel, I know some do, some don't. He has been very vocal since day one. Like he's always been a back the blue type of person. And when this whole thing started, that was his mentality until you start to look at it and you're like, well, wait a minute. And when a case like that happens, this is not, I know he became very viral with this case because he is the free Karen Read movement.
Now I have a question. Now does
one second, I'm not done with my statement. But he has been reporting on stuff going on in our state for a really long time.
Yeah.
Really long time. So this is nothing new. This really upped his platform. So now he's known nationwide. I mean, when I was at CrimeCon last year in what was it? In Nashville, talking to people about the Karen Read case, people are like, who's Turtle Boy? Like everybody now had heard of Turtle Boy. Yeah, so, all right, Beckham, what's your point?
No, it's just that. Okay, so does he have a background in law, or is he ex anything? Or
no, he was a former teacher.
He was a former teacher and he talks about this. So I'm not doxing anything. He talks about this on his own channel. He was a former teacher. He had some type of blog and it got discovered. Like, it was under a pseudonym. It got discovered it was him. And I think it was like quit your blog or lose your job. And then, I mean, I'm just kind of briefly
okay.
I'm misquoting, my apologies, but he went on the kind of more journalism route.
Okay. Yeah, we're just in this new age where, different platforms now, gather fire and they just get out there and start promoting things. So especially like, for example, with the OJ thing, now I'm seeing a bunch of the when they did the OJ, Netflix ran that his documentary or whatever, or the docuseries, whatever you want to call it. They had a bunch of new information on there. They had the retired guys on there, right? That I've never really heard before. And now you're seeing them jump on other YouTuber shows and getting more word out there. So it's definitely becoming a thing now to where a lot more information is going to be going out, and a lot of people are going to be spending more time on these platforms and getting more information because you don't know what you're getting from the media, and another thing, some of these, I guess YouTubers or whatever you want to call them can be more entertaining rather than the news, and you can just gather if you enjoy that person's, interaction or, ability to speak and put the information out there, then of course you're going to watch. Right. So, so that's definitely becoming a thing now in society as a whole, whether it's sports, whether it's covering crime or news or political views or whatever. It's definitely becoming a thing for sure. And a lot of people have that ability to convey messages out, whether it's ability to show or to tell, kind of thing, right? Show and tell. One of those early onsets that you learn as when you're in school. I've definitely noticed that. I became personally vested in YouTube, where I was paying the premium before COVID, before all these people got the YouTube channels, right? So, and it was just something that I enjoyed, and I did it more for the sports portion of it. And then now I've gotten more into like TV shows and political news and, and crime and whatever, right? That's happening real time now. So it's definitely something that's getting really put out there, and it's gaining momentum. And I think it's now going to be the new way to definitely follow a case or for something to get momentum like that, like the Karen Reed case has, for sure.
Yeah.
It's helping her a lot.
Yeah. So going off of that, so like it makes sense because let's say a reporter for Channel 7, Channel 5 or whatnot, like that is their career that they've worked for. That is their job. So there's a certain level of, a level of expectations, a level of professionalism.
Right. Yes.
Lines that can't be crossed where someone like us who's on here, I've gotten lucky and I've got to do some interviews with some other, people involved in the true crime, world. And I don't have those same restraints. So I mean, I'm not one to push boundaries quite a bit, but I could if I wanted to, because my career isn't on the line because I'm not in journalism. So my reputation isn't there. So for example, Turtle Boy, he had one of the jurors from the Karen Reed trial on, and Turtle Boy could ask whatever he wanted.
Right. Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah.
Where if that interview was with, another, a different news agency, they might not want to ask those hard questions.
Right. You're limited. You're right. Yep. Great point. Yeah, I was kind of getting towards that, but yeah, you polished it off right there for me.
Yeah. So a few people came in the chat a little late. I just want to double check. So look at Capone. Alan Jackson, it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. Mimi says, I could never be a juror. I always tell them, you don't say that. It's depending on the trial. I would love to be on a jury, but I know I wouldn't. They wouldn't pick me. K-Dog, I'm going to give you a star for that. Danny just curb stomped Beckham.
Well, I thought you were done. It's my bad.
Hey, Shelly, good to see you.
I'm
She's
still
giving
trying to
all of us lovely compliments. Let's see. Look at Danny's. I know what you were saying. Tony Stewart, a lot of women in the chat. I better behave. You sure should. Oh, be nice. Mr. B is kind of cute. We can agree to disagree. Liz, you want to weigh on that or no?
All set.
Okay.
I'm just here.
You sure are. I don't want to be responsible for someone's fate. No jury. Okay, no, that's fair. I mean, some cases are easy and some are,
it's a responsibility for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, as always, we'll keep you posted on the Karen Reed trial. There's always something every week. So, all right, Beckham, I'm glad you're here. There's been a few where I've been scrolling past them because I'm like, we need Beckham for this. So let's get into what everybody has been talking about this week. Casey Anthony. So, little fun fact story. Beckham thought that Casey Anthony was a model at some point, and had a little thing there. So
I did. I saw her on front page of Yahoo back when it was a thing. It was like, so you opened up your browser and there's yahoo.com, and she was like, oh wow, look, she's pretty cute or whatever. I didn't know who she was. I thought it was like a picture of a model or something, something that Vogue magazine was going to put out or something. But I had no idea until I got later in the case where you started seeing more of her and more of her out there, and then you started to know why. Right?
And then you realize why she was
right. Exactly.
I haven't even said anything yet, and y'all in the chat are ready to go. Oh God, her again. Casey Anthony can kick the tires on the Capone mobile. Capone.
And I believe that she was intimate with her lawyer, wasn't she not?
Jose Baez. One of my coworkers said that to me this week when we were.
Oh yeah, that came out in 2009.
That was a rumor.
No, I think it was
not
real.
Found anything to substantiate it, and I have Jose Baez's book, and he addresses that. There was he is adamant that there was nothing. He's married. There was nothing.
Of course.
So think of it what you will. Casey Anthony should be doing hard time. The prosecution screwed up that trial. I agree. Oh my gosh, long time no see. 9496 tell. Hello. I need to give you a wrench. I'll do that in a second. Yeah, she needs to stay in prison. Well, she should be in prison in order to stay in prison.
She did no time, right?
She did she was sentenced for, it was something very minor, but she got out like time served, and I'm blanking on the specifics. So if someone comes in the chat and says you were wrong on that,
bad. I was gonna say there was something I thought she was in for a couple of years for max, maybe.
She's not in jail. No, she
was free.
She's been out she's been free for years. I mean,
she didn't serve anything.
Karma's coming for you.
If anything.
Hey, Trekker, good to see you,
What's up, Trekker? Okay, so
we were just talking about Star Trek.
Yeah, oh God. Baez could have been intimate with Aaron Hernandez. That is mean. Hey, Matilda, welcome. No, you are perfectly on time. So Matilda, shout out to Matilda. So we got the Danny After Dark shirt. Liz is wearing the Liz shirt. Beckham is just gracing us with his presence. So all in a day's work. Trekker, we talked about that earlier. Go over to the Paulcast after the show. Paul put up a video about some, let's just say, inconsistencies. We'll get to it. So, all right. Now, let's go back to why actually Casey Anthony's back in the media. And trust me, as we're talking about this, y'all, go free.
She's not here to garner my attention anymore, so go for it.
So, Casey Anthony is now on TikTok. And the internet, social media is going crazy. The video is about 3 minutes. I've watched the whole thing several times, and it's filmed in her car. She did turn off comments, so you cannot comment on the video. And just a side note, she's clearly pulled over somewhere in her car. The damn blinker's on because you can hear it the whole time. So that's just
I didn't even notice that.
Wait, are you sure it wasn't the emergency light thing?
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was that. But either way, like, come on. Like, it's distracting. But anyway, so why is she on here? So Casey Anthony has launched a new career as a legal advocate, and she would be, quote, a proponent for the LGBTQ community and women's rights, end quote. Casey tells viewers that she created a Substack account that describes her as an advocate and researcher, and where she would be posting regularly on legal issues. Quote, I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel it's necessary. If I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. End quote. She goes on to say, quote, my goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize, end quote. She says she feels compelled to advocate for herself and her daughter. Quote, as a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights, I feel it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at it as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008, end quote. In her video also, she kind of says, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Casey and my daughter is Kaylee. Yes, she says is. So that was kind of the notes I had recapping that. However, I'm doing my thing today after work and I see this headline. Gypsy Rose Blanchard has spoken out about Casey Anthony.
Oh, I thought you thought you were gonna say she has an OnlyFans.
Beckham.
I'm sorry, I don't know why that's so funny.
I don't even know anymore. God. I don't even know. Beckham, how frequently are you on OnlyFans? Keep in mind your girlfriend's in the chat.
I don't even know what it is. I just know what it is.
Oh, what an answer. Look at that. That's a load of shit. But all right. Shelby, I'll find out and I'll get back to you. I got you, girl. I got you. So Gypsy Rose Blanchard has now made she commented to TMZ because of course TMZ has to get
why does
info.
always coming.
Gypsy Rose has urged Casey Anthony to not share legal advice after she joined TikTok to promote her legal herself as like a legal advocate. While talking to a TMZ reporter, Gypsy was asked if it was, quote, a good idea, end quote, for Casey to share legal advice with people on social media. And Gypsy says, quote, no, not at all, end quote.
Now I'm laughing because Liz laughed.
I mean, if this girl is saying that she shouldn't be on social media and she should not be giving legal advice, I don't know. I saw this headline and I was kind of like, man, this is going to be like a celebrity death match. There's going to be this feud and they're going to be going back and forth. All right. So the thing with her Substack, I saw somewhere that like she's charging $10 for like legal advice from it. Is that what she's doing?
I don't have a Substack. I've never heard of Substack but yes, you do make money from that platform.
Hmm.
I was
she has no qualifications, right? I mean, working in the legal field, what is that?
Okay, she's like, oh, I've been in the legal field. Yeah, when you killed your kid.
Oh my God.
Is that what they
the legal system versus the legal field? Yes.
Like, I'm so angry, but I'm.
So I want to read a little bit of this thing that I found. Oh, for fuck's sake, hold on. So I found this post and I thought this kind of summed. I needed to remind myself of this case. Hi, my kitty's here.
Hi, Betsy.
Betsy wants to hear too. So I believe this is actually a girl who has a podcast, When Killers Get Caught. So shout out to this woman, Brittany. So the post that she posted yesterday, Casey Anthony's trying to use her daughter's death to make money. She knows Facebook and Instagram have slightly older demographic, and she's banking on teens and 20-somethings being too young to remember what she did. So, yeah. So here are her bullet points. She says, so let me remind you, she didn't report Kaylee missing at all. She Googled how to make chloroform and neck breaking. She lied to police about a fake nanny. Partied in clubs, got a La Bella Vita tattoo while Kaylee was missing. Forensic tests found chloroform in her car trunk. Kaylee's remains were found in a trash bag near the Anthony home. Duct tape was found on Kaylee's skull. Casey's own parents called 911 saying her car smelled like a dead body. I did remember that one. Mm-hmm. Casey never cried or acted like a grieving mother during the trial. She walked free and blamed her own father to cover her tracks. She's trying to rebrand as a legal researcher on TikTok. She is not licensed to dispense any legal information.
That is spot on.
I kind of followed this when it happened, but all of these things, the
only thing that's missing is also she was trying to say that she worked. So the reason she had a nanny is she worked every day at Disney, and she hadn't worked there in years. And
that's right.
The police went with her. It was like they already called in advance and knew. And show us your office. So she's walking around saying hi to people. And then they get to like the end of a hall, and she.
Oh my God. It's like in Seinfeld when George let the fiance's parents, like he drove them all the way out into the Hamptons to his house in the Hamptons that didn't exist, and he just kept driving.
Oh.
Can we go into the...
Except this is real life, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Let me see. Capone was talking about... He always brings up some really good point. He says, I think it's likely that her pedo dad killed the daughter. Was that a thing back then?
I remember something vaguely about that.
During the trial, Casey was trying to say that her father was sexually abusing her. And then she added that he was sexually abusing Kaylee as well. But there was never any evidence of that.
Okay, so that was just her accusing she's throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a different time. It's almost like nobody would believe you back then, as they like now. It's like it's been like now with the Epstein thing, right? And it's all this stuff that's come forward, and all the magnification of sex trafficking now. And actually, they're going, now that government agencies are going after that kind of thing now for sure. Even military helping in with it. So it's now becoming a thing to protect, the kids and women and things like that, right? So it wasn't a thing back then. So now it would be more like, oh wow, like let's look into that allegation more so than it was back then. I guarantee you, seriously.
Times have changed since 2008 when her trial.
Yeah, so we're going on 20 years ago. So that a lot, when it comes to that, a lot has changed for the better.
Let's see. Hey, Todd, welcome. It's a miracle so the person that went pulled over to basically take a piss in the.
It's always been a thing, but it
found
hasn't.
Kaylee. Trekker says, I too had an imaginary job at Universal Studios.
No, it's always been a thing, but it's now more like being prosecuted, and now really they're going after these perpetrators now. It's I get it. It's been since beginning of time.
Let's see. Well, Casey Anthony got away with it, so maybe she knows something, or she hired a good lawyer. I don't know anything about her going to law school, but what Kim Kardashian went to try to be a lawyer too, but I don't think she ever got her degree. So like that'd be like, oh well, you know what I mean?
They lowered the standard in California for the bar. I know that.
That's reassuring. Mimi, I'm still trying to figure out how did I almost get locked up for overdue library books, but Casey Anthony's running free. I'm going to star that. That's a pretty good one. Trekker, I remember during her trial, they claimed Casey was doing clerical legal work at her defense attorney. Okay, that's slightly ringing a bell, but that does not make you qualified to give legal advice to people.
Is that how she got the affair with her lawyer, maybe? She was spending a lot of time there?
I have never read anything that solidifies that. Could it? I don't know 100% for sure. I wasn't there, but I didn't read anything that was like, okay, yeah, I think they did. Zanny the Nanny, a drug reference. But... Yeah, that was one of them. But she also said someone's name specifically who lived in that area who got really harassed because the community then believed she was responsible for the kidnapping when in reality it was made up. She also has a creepy relationship with her brother too. We don't hear about him a lot, but so I don't know enough to comment on it. Child abuse has always been a thing, right? And there's going to be some people that think that her claim is true. Then there will be some that think, I think she's just throwing her dad and family under the bus to save herself.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. It's just something that would have been looked into a lot more deeper now.
Casey got her Monica Lewinsky. Oh my God, you guys are wild. Yeah, Mimi's on fire tonight. Mimi is on fire. So, okay, Capone is correcting me. Kim K is doing self-study.
That's what it was.
Is the only state that allows you to take the bar exam without going to law school.
Basically lower the standard.
Yeah. So, Liz, I know. So, did you actually see Casey's video?
I did finally. Yeah, I finally did. When you first texted me about it, I looked on YouTube because I don't have TikTok. I've never used it before. So I didn't find it on YouTube right away. I had to watch Perez Hilton. Is that who it is? I think put out a video. And he just like had a picture of her and talked about it, but I have seen the actual video since.
Mm-hmm. What was your thoughts after seeing it?
I don't even know. It sounds like she's going to be recording in her car so she can protect her privacy. Mm-hmm. I think you would be absolutely like crazy to take legal advice from her. I guess people are trying to get her taken off TikTok, which we talked about. She hasn't violated their terms of service, so it sucks, but she can be there. So I don't think she needs to be removed from any platform at this point. Again, she's allowed to be there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the platform issue earlier, how popularity, that type of thing, she could have a new base, a new generation of fans, or I don't want to say fans, but people that are interested in her story. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. And she's probably going to have people on her side, just like anything now. Mm-hmm. And I mean, look at Luigi
Mangione. Yep.
He's got a huge following. He's got a lot of money. people like this guy.
Yeah.
So people are gonna like her. Sorry, Danny. That's the times we live in now.
No, that is fair. Everybody has the right to do that.
She's giving herself a platform, and we'll see how far she gets with it. And like I said, I think she's gonna have people that are interested in her story, and will give attention to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric came in the chat. Hey, Eric, good to see you. Hi, Beckham. I hope you feel better.
Thank you, Karen. Somebody cares about me.
Thank you, Karen, because I'm glad somebody here does. I'll put it that way. Where is James Watson? Somebody really needs to do a welfare check on James Watson. I'll message him later. Yeah, that's not like James. Something's going on. He's always here, and he has not been here. Casey Anthony. I agree with Liz. She hasn't done anything to be removed from the platform. Do people have a right to be like, I'm pissed she's here and what? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, right. You do.
But she hasn't violated any terms of using the platform. So in the meantime, if there's anything good, we'll update you on that or anything worth talking about. Oh, Beckham. So the next case for tonight, Brian Kohberger. Today there was.
This one is getting interesting literally by the day.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Yep. So what we heard this week, as well as I'll get into what broke today, like earlier this evening. So 23-year-old Madison Mogan, who was one of the victims of the Idaho College murders that killed the 4 college students, had DNA from 3 different people under her fingernails. This new revelation came from newly unsealed court documents. The defense attorneys, Brian Kohberger of Brian, said that a test to match traces to their client came back inconclusive. It's unclear how the DNA evidence from the 3 different people got under her fingernails, and it's unclear who those 3 different sets of DNA belongs to. So the thing is, the defense is arguing that as a result of that evidence should be excluded from his trial. But wouldn't, as a defense attorney, you would want that to stay in, to say, see, look at that. That doesn't match my client. Why would you want that thrown out? I don't know. So the defense is also arguing that the methodology used in the tests performed on the evidence at the scene should also be thrown out, specifically the knife sheath. So she is saying that the testing method failed to link Kohberger to the crime scene, and that even presenting it in court, quote, could potentially confuse and mislead, end quote, jury members, or at least force the defense to waste time explaining the nuances to them.
True.
So before we get into what was released today, I know, Beckham, we've been talking about this on camera now for weeks about the knife sheath and all of that. So what are you guys thinking so far about in regards to the DNA under Madison's fingers? What do you think?
What was I'm not that up on this trial, this case. Was that one of the roommates?
Yeah. Was murdered, yeah.
Was
she Betsy?
She's just hanging out. She's participating. Was she out? Did she work? Was she doing something? I mean, it's probably not completely unreasonable that you might have, unknown individuals, I guess. I don't know if you're at work or something, like, depending on what you do. I don't think that's too far out of the realm of, like, that could be something that could happen to any of us. I might be at work one day and that might happen to me. So, like, what was she doing? I don't know. I read the texts and I didn't really have the entire context because I haven't really kept up with this. So,
yeah. So Tony Stewart is saying Betsy's trying to move Liz out of the way. Yes.
Oh yeah, she wants
Betsy
to be.
Show.
Oh yeah, she would love to have her own show.
Yes, Eric. Liz is the reason I'm a cat lady. Like, in all honesty, yeah. So Mimi's saying, wait, there was a DNA sample on one of the victims. Yes.
3 different people.
3 different
and it was
people.
Not the accused.
It is not. It came back inconclusive.
I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah. So in regards to what Liz said about the text, so today, newly released text messages and phone calls show, the headline was to show the fear of the 2 University of Idaho students, the ones that survived. And that has been a topic of conversation since the beginning about the 2 individuals who lived in the house, the 2 roommates who didn't call authorities for hours and hours. So the text messages were sent about 8 hours before the roommates called authorities. So the 2 roommates, they're being described in court filings as DM and BF. So that's presumed to be Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, who both lived in the house and survived the attack. And when I say survived the attack, they themselves were not physically harmed. So the text messages, DM sent to BF between 4:22 a.m. and 4:24, saying no one is answering. I'm really confused. DM texted saying, Kaylee, what's going on? Kaylee was one of the victims. And then texting back to BF, I'm freaking out right now. In the messages to BF and DM was referencing somebody with, quote, like a ski mask almost, end quote, in the house. BF replies, STFU. DM says, I'm not kidding. And she's freaked out. BF says, come to my room, run. Also, prosecutors want to use these messages to piece together the timeline of that morning. Both housemates are expected to testify at the murder trial, which right now is scheduled to start in August. A call to police also was detailed in the new filings and was made public. And it said that, quote, the unresponsive body, end quote, of Xana Kernodle was found in hours after the intruder was first spotted in the house. So it says, it's talking about one of the calls to law enforcement, again, that came 8 hours later. Quote, one of the roommates who passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up, end quote. So that came from the transcript. One of the surviving housemates previously told investigators that noise woke her early that morning, but when she looked outside her bedroom, she didn't see anything. Later, she told investigators when she opened her door again, she saw a masked man in black clothing walking toward her. He walked by her towards a sliding glass door, and she locked herself in her room. That's when law enforcement is thinking and saying that that's when the suspect left the home. But again, that was just released to the public today, the text messages between DM and BF. So Liz, you mentioned the text. I don't know if when you stepped off camera, if you heard me reading them or anything, but any comments on that? Any thoughts on that?
I didn't hear like half of it. Sorry. I had to go away for a second. So there were 4 people murdered, and how many roommates do they have? There's 2 or 3
there
roommates?
There was 2 others.
2 others. Okay.
And those were the 2 that the text messages
right.
that are being made public.
So do people really think that they had something to do with it? I was reading comments on something that, why didn't, if they saw that somebody was laying there not breathing, like they were pretty cut up. So like you didn't see blood, they were just laying there. I mean, these kids, if they actually walked into their roommates being murdered, would have been in shock. They wouldn't have known what to do. Like, you don't know how you're going to react to that situation. Did they know the guy?
No, they're just saying that in the text that somebody with a mask or a ski mask walked by them. And that they basically just locked themselves in their room until hours later.
Yeah.
Beckham, I know you've been kind of back and forth with this.
It's just very odd. It's just odd. You're going to have to explain how that possibly could have gotten there if you're going to really put it into perspective and put it be it part of the trial. Of course, the defense I agree with what the defense is trying to do, because if it's inconclusive, you just don't even want to be, you don't want it to be mentioned, because you're going to have to spend time going through the analytics of trying to explain how it possibly could have gotten there, how it wasn't your client, and this is going to be it's going to take time to really do that. That's
You're
why
talking about the fingernail DNA.
Yeah, right. So I completely agree with what the defense is trying to do there, but like I'm trying to figure out how this could have happened. To be honest with you, 3 possible people. Like, how? It just wasn't her like hugging somebody before she went to bed.
I don't know.
Like,
oh,
good night. I'm going to bed. Let's, hug you, and then going in her room.
I wish I knew what she did. Like, if she has a job, I wish I knew what she did. Like, what she's studying. What did she do that day? Because again, I don't know how unreasonable it is for you to have, depending on what you're doing during the day, DNA of other people under your fingernails. I mean, you might, but I don't know. But it didn't match anybody that they tested, so it was not the roommates, and it was not the guy, correct?
I don't know.
It came back inconclusive to Kohlberger.
And it was right. And it couldn't prove him. Right.
Mm-hmm. But they couldn't prove that it wasn't either.
Right. Right.
I don't know, man. It's just, it's kind of weird. Liz, really we talked, what was it, 2 weeks ago at Danny, where I talked about how he had access to at his college. That's a big thing to me.
Tell Liz about that.
Liz, did you know about that? Did she know about his ability with the school program at Washington State? I forgot which one it is, but the criminology program allows you at the level that he's at, right? Because he was in the doctor program. Do you have an entire house where you could literally set up a crime scene with objects and everything, full-blown crime scene, to practice and go through the whole procedural aspect of the crime? Because I'm telling you guys, that's a big reporting is a big deal. And going back to Proctor, again, that's another story, but yeah, the final reporting is a big part of the job. Okay. So you're having to gather the evidence correctly, then you're having to document it and report it. That's a lot. So it takes a lot of practice, a lot of patience, that kind of thing. And also to keep a sound mind, an analytical mind. It's not easy being that in that field. But so anyway, so he had access to this, and Danny brought up a good point about, well, is there a log? How many times was he able to practice this through a simulation, right? I would
imagine this. You'd have to log, or there's
sure. That was a great point, because how many times did he actually go through it? Was it just one time? Was it maybe like 4 or 5 times, which to me would be a lot, right? So,
and was there a leading up to the murder? Like,
sure, exactly the time, right? There's a lot of questions with that fact, and I think that fact really could, if they were to look more into it, really be important to this investigation, ongoing investigation into this case and trial.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's not ongoing to this trial, or potentially the soon-to-be trial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you guys have a lot of different theories in the chat, and I think it's like I've been very vocal about my feelings on Brian Kohlberger and my thoughts on the case. But with what's been coming out, could there be enough reasonable doubt where there could be. Right.
Yeah, the chat's going crazy with a whole theory about accomplices.
Yeah, I want to go in order because let's see. K-Dog, they released bits and pieces, but not enough to draw a conclusion. Right. You're right. Yep. Still don't understand how people can sleep through the sounds of someone being bludgeoned to death. It's not like they were beat with a pillow. The sounds would be loud. They didn't Mimi, who goes to sleep with that shit going on with a masked intruder in the house. They were stabbed, not beaten. Tony Stewart, I'm going to give you a star for that. But when Liz went off camera, he thinks that Liz and Betsy were arguing about who's getting the most YouTube time. I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, she's demanding her own show. I told her no.
She would.
She's going to kill me in my sleep tonight, so it's been nice knowing you.
Capone, 3 people's DNA, Brian Kohlberger, Chris roommate. It was inconclusive.
Yeah.
Mimi's saying Brian Koberger would have had to have an accomplice. There's no way he could take on 4 people under the same roof by himself.
That's what I would think.
Tony
Was he on
Stewart
drugs?
agreeing.
Was he on?
Were they in the same room? Were any
No.
of them in the same room? They were all.
So there were 2 in one room and 2 in another.
Okay.
Yeah, Xana and Ethan, boyfriend and girlfriend in the same room, and the other 2 women were in the room. Their room together. Would this DNA match the other 2 DNA samples mentioned earlier? Remember back when we talked about that was a week or 2 ago about that unknown other DNA? But they got rid of the house. They got rid of the crime scene, so there's nothing to go back to. Good question. I would like to know that.
Yeah,
answer.
right. You're right. With the DNA 2 weeks ago, they found 2 other DNA completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Did they run it by the FBI database, the Chrome database? I'm not sure. And if good question, would it potentially match this new stuff? That's a great question.
That is
or
a
is
great
it
question.
too inconclusive with this DNA now that they have this week, or whenever, but that uncovered this week? But I don't know. Good question.
Yeah, that is K-Dog. Capone says Mimi, the roommates had to have been the accomplices. Capone has been Capone's theory since day one. Mimi with Ted Bundy, he beat his victims in the head, instant unconsciousness. David Ward, hey David. I think Tate LaBianca taught us all people don't die quietly with being stabbed. That's what I'm thinking. And now another Mimi, Auntie Mimi is in the chat. So it's the battle of the Mimis. Hey Mimi. So K-Dog, but Tate LaBianca weren't drinking heavy that night. The human body's fight or flight response will kick in even quicker when being stabbed, no matter how drunk one is. Danny, didn't you say you 100% support Brian? Tony Stewart. Go read about.
I'm surprised you haven't kicked him out for that one.
I thought of timing him out, but no, I'll let that one go. So this is what's going on.
So I found one interesting study. This was like 12 years old, but it's about fingernail scrapings and DNA being found under them and like the usability of that. This research suggests the incidence of foreign DNA profiles beneath fingernails in the general population is low, but when present, the majority is of limited significance and does not tend to persist for an extensive period of time. So that's interesting. So this says, let's see, in a sampling of fingernails from the general population, 19% contained a foreign source of DNA. In a study involving deliberate scratching of another individual, 33% of individuals had a foreign DNA profile beneath their fingernails from which the person they scratched could not be excluded as the source. However, when sampling occurred 6 hours after the scratching event, only 7% retained the foreign DNA.
Wow.
So it sounds like maybe there's a timing thing to that. So if they found that could have been recent, that could have been pretty recent, like within several hours. This is one study. This is just one study that I pulled up, but so I guess it's not that common. It's not uncommon, but isn't that common. And when it happens, like if you scratch someone, sounds like that DNA won't actually stay under your fingernails for a long time. Obviously, that would depend on what you're doing too during that time.
That's tricky, though. It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's all those hours past.
It's right. I was gonna say that the hours. It was like a whole day, a work day.
It's like 8 hours.
What before they discovered the bodies?
Before 911.
Even before police got called and they made it a crime scene. You're talking maybe 8.5 hours. I mean, I don't know, an extra 30 minutes.
Yeah, because the roommates are, they're texting between 4:22, 4:24 a.m. And within minutes, the person with the mask left. Law enforcement was not called until like noon.
So they were talking about the person with the mask at like 4-something a.m.
Mm-hmm. And then they were scared, stayed in their rooms.
So according to the study, okay, Now that you know the timeline, is it true evidence or not? Based on what you just read.
I don't
think I'm having a hard time.
I don't think you could. Oh, I don't think you could say. So when did they even take the samples? They obviously didn't take the samples the second that the roommates called police, right?
Right.
So it was probably later that day or like the next morning or something.
Sure.
So I don't really think they could even prove like a time frame when that occurred.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much no good then.
I don't see how they could. I don't see how they could prove anything with it.
Yeah.
That's probably why I think. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure based on that study that you read.
I mean, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not.
No. I know, but on the thing that you just read, right? I'm just trying to figure. Okay, cool.
Are you saying that we should log on to what is it, Substack right now and get some legal advice?
Yes, that's an excellent idea. I know just the person.
Beckham, you're paying for it because I refuse. Oh man!
I wonder if she'll take fake Bitcoin.
You know what's funny? I'm not gonna lie. I was talking with somebody I will not name, talking about this whole Casey Anthony thing and how I was like, oh my god, and Beckham had oh my god, thought she was a model and was so cute, and I'm like, yes, we love Shelly. I would rather Shelly be around than Casey Anthony, but I'm like, imagine if this was back in the day when Beckham was, remember when we were trying to find Beckham a girl? Imagine if Casey, you could have emailed her and that could have been your in. You're just shaking your head.
I literally, when I clicked on, like I said, it was a one-off. I clicked on my phone or something, or computer, and I saw the news, and there she was, front page. I was like, oh, cool. She's, she's cute. She's like, how old was she at the time? Like 20? 21,
yeah, somewhere around there.
20 to early 20s. I mean, yeah, so I just thought it was some girl on the front page of Yahoo or something. I don't know. It was just that. And then the story started to getting that popularity story, thing that it was in the news. And this was before true crime was a thing. Like this was before all of that, and it was just out there in the news.
Yeah.
So
this sounds a very rehearsed story, but that's okay. Tony Stewart, we all love Shelly. We do.
Thank you.
I don't think I would have allowed Beckham and his girlfriend to come visit Boston and Salem if his girlfriend was Casey Anthony. So, Shelly, welcome anytime.
What t-shirt championship days? Yeah.
Yeah. There was a couple of comments earlier. I saw them. I want to make sure I get to them. Mimi says, "Is there a possibility the killer?"
I don't know. That's the thing. Was it a team effort? Was it just a Brian on drugs? Was he on drugs? Right? Nobody knows, and there's no clarity on that.
He used to be a heroin addict, but that was way back.
I don't know. I'm with Mimi on the fact that I think she's the one that stated she doesn't see him taking on killing 4 in that amount of time with his, I guess, body size, that kind of thing, without anybody helping or stopping him, or helping or anything like that. So it's really tough on this one. This one's really tough, and you have all this inconclusive evidence, DNA stuff and being put out there. So it's kind of like, again, excuse me, the defense also wants to reassure everybody that the FBI is not clear that that's his car either on the camera. It's an unclear shot. So
yeah, there's no license.
There's no license plate. It could have been any white vehicle. It could have been any car. Like, it's not, again, the car thing.
It's circumstantial.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and I'm not saying that that's not his car either. I'm just like, it's like you're there. The defense is going to have it's almost like like they're going to have the ability to really put it on that a lot of this stuff is inconclusive. And like you said, you always say without a reasonable doubt, just one person can have doubt in that, and that's it, right?
Yes. Yep. Mimi's adding to what you were saying. Even if he was on drugs, he couldn't stab that many people at once by himself. I would think it would depend. Like if you're on speed or cocaine,
Yeah, or
I
something.
think it depends on the drug. But there's no evidence that he was on any type of drug.
Right.
Were the injuries just flat out they were stabbed? Like there wasn't like trauma to the like head or anything like that? No, like
it was stabbing.
Like, hits in the head. Just is there a chance he could have like moved them there to where they were found? Or are they pretty certain it was done right in the rooms?
I think that they were certain it was done in the rooms. I don't have that answer, Tony Stewart. I'm thinking no, because look at where we are right now. And there was never anything. It went from like, we don't have anybody to all of a sudden Koberger. So yeah, Mimi says, good point, Liz. I think there was Tony Stewart a little earlier said, I still haven't heard anything yet to say Brian is guilty. That is fair. That is fair. As Beckham was just, there's a lot of circumstantial in this, and we don't know everything. We're only getting these bits and pieces, so we'll see. I'm sure we're going to find out more before the trial starts.
I did a whole deep dive, like on my own, on a side story that dealt with some of the victims, about how some of the family members of the victims have connections to crime. And that it could have been, if it wasn't Brian, it could have been something of retaliation purpose type of thing against a family member, and too many people were just in the way type of thing. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just saying there's a deep dive out there about all that deals with other law enforcement agencies at the government level. I'm not going to bring it in because I don't know enough about it. I just kind of went on a little, side tour a while back. So I don't know. Like you said, we don't have all the information. I've always thought that the defense had an ace, right? I always told you that from the beginning, and I just don't know when they're going to put it out. I don't know if this was it, maybe, or I don't know. But I've always felt the defense had an ace up their sleeve, and they're waiting and they're holding it. Now, how they put it out, I don't know yet. I don't know if they put it out, but that's what I've always felt, that they had an ace up their sleeve, and they're just waiting for the right moment.
Yeah.
What kind of evidence has the prosecution let come out? Because they're not releasing everything, right? Is that what you guys are saying? What if they actually let out?
Fingerprint was on the knife sheath that was found underneath one of the victims' bodies. Like Beckham said, the vehicle. Again, there's no license plate. You can't 100% prove it. His cell phone, again, it's a lot of circumstantial. His cell phone was turned off during the times of the murders. And then he said he was out driving around stargazing, but that's a lie because based on weather reports, it was a cloudy night. Mm-hmm. So there's just a lot of circumstantial things.
Mimi, yeah, that's kind of what the deep dive was about, that he was either one of the victims or victims' family members. It was a retaliation murder. Mm-hmm. And again, guys, when you're talking, and I can't tell you enough, because you guys are good people. Y'all don't live in the life of criminality. It's ugly. It's bad. And this stuff happens when you're involved in drug dealing or any kind of criminality, to where it happens, and it's bad, and it's a dark world, and the stuff like this happens all the time. This happens to just make a case because it's 4 people in the same house. Anything more than one all the time, it's going to be a story. And you're talking about a college campus, right? So of course it gained momentum, and then the suspect is a professor, and it's a popular story. So, but yeah, that's the deep dive I went into. Is a retaliation murder.
Matilda, it's supposed to, as of right now, start in August, the trial. K-Dog, didn't someone say his sister believes he did it? I have not heard that. I don't know if that's true or not. Mimi says, if I recall correctly, wasn't there snow on the ground? Couldn't they get the make of the shoe prints like they did Richard Ramirez. If I recall, there was snow on the ground as well. But good.
And I remember you being against them getting rid of the house, like the actual structure, because the
house is literally gone.
They demolished it. Mm-hmm. The owner turned it over to the school, like just gave it up to the school, and then the school wanted to knock it down because, I mean, it's a sad thing for students to walk by, but at the same time, like, it's evidence. And there's so many questions of, maybe why did the roommates not hear any yelling? And the house was kind of a weird setup. So, but the state didn't argue it either. So both the defense and the state were like, okay, we have everything we need. They took 4D video, in pictures to present at trial. But I'm like, you can always tear it down later. You can't rebuild it. So if there's a juror or a couple of jurors that are like, I would like to physically see it.
Right. To get that sense, to get that actual sense of the whatever motion or whatever they're feeling, they needing to get it to be there, right?
Sometimes context is so important.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
It's not the norm where a jury will go to a scene, but it does happen. And give yourself the option. And it's heartbreaking for the community. Absolutely. I mean, Ethan Chapin, his two twins go to that. I mean, sorry, I say his two twins. He's part of a triplet. The other two siblings go to that school and would have to walk by that house. And I know I'm removed, so who am I? And my opinion means nothing at the end of the day. But I think for the community to heal, part of it is getting, and there's no such thing as closure, some form of justice of someone being held responsible and the right person being held responsible. And if part of that is preserving some evidence so that at trial that happens, keep it.
It's like the damn videos in from the Sallyport in Karen Reed.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Why would you ever do that?
Yeah. Oh, because it's the case. It's because it's old. We got rid of the footage. And Judge Bev has no issue with that. That's not a great
that's really sus. That's incredibly sus.
Yeah, K-Dog, that's a good point. In the videos of them at the food truck, I didn't see any. I was like, was there that much snow? That's a good point.
I know when the media went to Idaho, I remember seeing footage, and the media was outside of the house. It was certain they had to be certain ways away, but there was snow at that time, so maybe that's why I'm thinking that. So,
what's an actual Idaho vandal?
What's the what?
The mascot. What's an Idaho vandal?
I have no idea.
Like their mascot.
I don't know. I'm lucky I remember my college's mascot. They tore down the house so the defense can't put up a decent case. But the state said it was fine too. Both sides said it was fine.
Yeah, that's weird. That's very strange.
Mine used to be the Running Mavs. Or no, it is the Running Mavs, but it used to be like a Confederate soldier. And then they had to change it to a horse, a horse, Maverick.
Interesting. Yeah, K-Dog, and it might. You're right. It might not mean much. I always try to err on the side.
I don't know, man. I would want to personally see the house. Okay. I don't know. It depends on the diagram and how really good it is, and maybe you could. I guess it's going to see how good it's put together, designed, because, for example, with the Jean Bonnet case, I had no idea how big that house really was until I saw a really good diagram with it, right? A movement, a 3D movement. But still, I think it would be a lot different if I actually can go walk through the premises, right? And I think I would gather more feeling, a fresher perspective on noise, on sound, on that type of thing. Rather than seeing it just like lazy watching a TV show or a documentary about it, saying, "Oh, this is how big. This is where this was. This is where the kitchen was. This is where the other room that nobody knew about was." but you kind of really don't know because you're watching it on a TV monitor as opposed to actually walking through physically through the premises. So it gives you a different. I honestly think, Dan, I'm agreeing with you. I think it's actually a really good perspective to actually walk through yourself, to you gather that intel for your own self.
Yeah, Capone, exactly. How can we prove what the roommates could or couldn't hear without?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm totally on board with that for sure.
Yeah, because if you look at what the house looked like, it was very weird structure.
Yeah.
So we don't know. So yeah, I agree that like evidence shouldn't be destroyed before the trial.
Like the house that we stayed in LA, if you would have just showed it on paper, like, oh, here the door just opens right here by the living room and by the the bedroom, you're like, okay, but we got to experience it real time where this dude walked out of the wall, right? Could you have explained that on a sheet of paper to somebody?
No.
More than actually experiencing it? No, right? No.
Yeah.
It's two completely different things. I know I'm trying to make a joke, but
no, I know it's
two
seeing it versus
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Not the same.
Not the same. No.
And where's who made the comment? Yeah, K-Dog, and maybe the jury has no interest in seeing it. Maybe they have enough evidence and maybe the video is enough for them and pictures are enough for them. You're absolutely right. It could not be needed. But again, erring on the side of caution.
That is the closest I can bring in a life experience to this situation. Explaining, I was trying to make a joke, but actually explaining the realism of how you and I were literally just standing there and this dude walks out of the wall and we were just like, what the hell did we just what the hell did just happen? Yeah, right? Rather than explaining it to somebody that they're like, oh, like, okay, whatever. Like it doesn't.
If I was a woman staying alone in an Airbnb and a guy came out of the wall,
a guy came out of the wall. I know
you told the story, but I don't. It was like a secret door.
Yeah, it's a secret door to like. Yes, it was, and I was joking with them about it. Like I'm like, dude, these Hollywood houses have these secret like rooms and stuff. And they're like, I don't know, it's not.
And then it happened right in front of you.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yikes.
So anyway, Brian Kohberger, we'll keep you posted. There's always something, if not every week, every other, it seems. So we'll keep you posted. So it has been a while. Beckham, I've been preparing you. There's another case to talk about tonight. Beckham, would you like to do the introduction?
Chad Daybell.
Lori Vallow Daybell. She is back in the news, and she was actually on. So it's already over now, but I will be watching it on replay. So Dateline tonight at 9 p.m. On NBC. So again, at least where I am already, it's 10:44 at night, so it's already over. But I will be recapping it. So Lori Vallow Daybell is breaking her silence from prison. Here's Renee. I'm here for it. Matilda. Oh boy. We haven't even talked about what's going on, and they're like ready to go.
Did Renee just come in for the Chad Daybell story part of it?
I know, Renee, your timing is impeccable. So there was a clip, and I did see the clip in advance, or I saw it on Instagram from the Dateline episode where she is being interviewed with Keith Morrison. We love Keith Morrison, love him. So what she is basically insisting is that she is innocent. And what's his name, Beckham?
Chad Daybell
is innocent as well. She's sharing the belief that her and Chad will be exonerated. Quote, I have seen things in the future that Jesus showed me when I was in heaven, end quote. So that is what she says to Keith. She also says, quote, and we were not in jail and we were not in prison and they were still in the future from now, end quote. So again, this episode aired tonight. So I encourage everybody to check it out. I will be checking it out.
Yeah.
So Jesus showed her. She saw things in the future. If you guys remember at her, was it her sentencing, if I recall? She was basically telling the judge that that her children were, and Tammy Daybell, Chad's wife that they basically murdered, were coming to Lori, and they were happy and they were purposeful and they had jobs in heaven and everything was great and positive. So she tried to say that to the judge, but for a reduced sentence, basically, no, they're happy. They came and told me.
They had jobs in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
The children.
Mm-hmm.
And the murdered wife.
I don't know if that was I think that was the word she used, but it was something like jobs or roles or something to that effect.
They are absolute. Yeah, they're absolutely.
And they were happy.
Insane.
I have nothing but horrible things to say about Lori.
Is she appealing? Is she going to go through appeals? Has that started?
They've tried. Her team has tried. Yeah. Beckham?
I don't know. I just, there's nothing I can really. I know this is more of Renee's type of thing. It's a Mormon thing, right? That's Renee. There you go. I was gonna give Renee all the credit in the world because she keeps up with that stuff, and she has experience with it. So it's hard to really kind of zoom into because of there are different. What do you call it? Religious upbringing and beliefs and things like that. So, yeah, I don't. It's appalling and all that kind of thing, but
different case, Mimi.
Yeah.
This is so. Yeah, her and Chad are going to be exonerated. So she's touching on two things. If we want to break down what Lori's saying, one is that she's seen things in the future that Jesus showed her, but then she's also saying that she and Chad will be exonerated. I don't know. Renee is saying she sure aged. She did in the clip. Yeah, prison has not been kind to her.
I was gonna say, I'm sure prison will do that to you.
Mm-hmm. I was here just listening. Renee, you're awesome. Matilda saying in regards to Lori Vallow, she's a trip. That's a very kind way to wrap it in a pretty bow, but yes. I keep up with true crime just like I have. Anyone else? I haven't seen some of these people mentioned. Okay. Let me see.
Renee, I didn't know you were recovering.
Well, if you watch Renee in the chat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why she's really well versed, right? That's why I was kind of giving her I know she's in chat, but she definitely can put a lot of more context into the discussion.
Mm-hmm. You know what, Renee? I apologize on behalf of Beckham. He missed that part in the chat before when you were sharing that because he was too busy trying to figure out which candle to light, and that's why he was late one of these past times. So I'm guessing that's what it was. So she's not into women. Oh, Lori? As far as I know, no. But yeah, I think, I really want to see this. So depending on what comes of this Dateline episode, there may or may not be more of a little bit of a recap of maybe if there's some really standout moments, we may be talking about this again next week. But it just, every time I think Lori Vallow is out of our minds, we can go on. She comes back to the surface, just like Alex Murdaugh. Every time I think the Murdaughs are out, okay, we're done with them for now, then something else comes up and resurfaces.
Just like Adam Montgomery and Casey Anthony won't go away. All these effing people just will not go away. And until they die, we will be hearing about them.
You just made me so much more depressed, Liz.
I'm sorry. I do my best.
She thinks she can nullify the jury.
Nullify.
It's not realistic.
Tony Stewart, I don't think I can make it to midnight. So no. That's when you go over to what is the platform? OnlyFans, Beckham After Dark, or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So there's
If anything, I must start my own radio station, the midnight show.
I would. Oh my, Liz. I don't know how you feel about if Beckham was a.
Oh, they already have a name and a station number. and everything. And I would just
like
play
coast
the
to coast. Would you be like coast to coast?
Yes, exactly. Coast to coast. Yeah, coast to coast. 108. I'm sorry. It would be 1094. The Whisper.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Nice.
I can't. The people that would call
coast
in.
To coast to coast. Playing your favorite songs, telling your love stories.
I'm so grossed out right now. So grossed out right now. K-Dog, I don't think so. So, last case of the night, and the subject at hand kind of ties a little bit into the book review that I did earlier this week, if y'all missed that. So, sports, yay! We're going to talk about, where's my dang notes? Here it is. So, this was one.
I'm sorry. I know. I was going to ask you, but if you're going to talk about the KC guys, only because one of our good friends, now that we looped into my core, he's actually still in special forces. Another guy, he's stationed out of KC. He's a Kansas City Chiefs ticket holder. And today, Apple got a hold of the news clipping, and Apple was like, "Hey, I didn't know you guys kind of did that type of thing. I need to come watch a game with you." Something about a bowl. It was a bowl of cocaine put out or something. I don't know. Is that what you're...
So, okay.
At the party?
Beckham doesn't read the docs that I put a lot of
No,
work
I'm just kind of going on
really?
what I hear sometimes. I'm sorry.
Liz reads them. I know that. So, thank you, Liz.
No problem.
So, again, yay, sports. Kansas City Chiefs football fans. So, what we learned was the prosecutors have charged 2 men in connection with the deaths of the 3 Kansas City Chiefs football fans. Remember, they were the 3 men that were found dead on January 7th, 2024, outside of a Missouri home where they all went to do a football watch party. So Jordan Willis was 39 years old. Ivory Carson was 42. So those were the men that were charged with distribution of a controlled substance and involuntary manslaughter in connection with the deaths of 38-year-old Ricky Johnson, 37-year-old David Harrington, and 36-year-old Clayton McGeeney. So quick reminder, Ricky, David, and Clayton died outside of the home that Jordan Willis was renting in Kansas City. There's talk about that they froze to death outside. There was talks about the temperature. For a long time, it was what happened. Were there drugs involved? What was in their system? How was it that the person that rents the house was inside and supposedly slept for like 2 or 3 days straight before I think it was the fiance of one of the victims came in because he couldn't reach. And deep dive into that. We've talked about it more in depth at the time it happened.
Was there a bowl of cocaine put out in the middle of the kitchen?
I didn't see that.
Oh.
I did not see that. Okay. What the court records said on Wednesday, however, to get to the drugs, was that the 3 men that died of a toxic effect of fentanyl and cocaine. So the court date has not been set yet for the 2 men that have been charged, Jordan Willis and Ivory Carson, but the 2 men remain behind bars. So Jordan Willis, I will say, from what I've been hearing and reading, that he has changed his story more than once.
Right. Like 4 times.
That does not look good.
And didn't he check himself in? Is that him?
That was him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. It's been a while. I remember when it came on. It was right around the playoff time.
January 7th,
year, not this year, the last year, right? Yeah.
So it's been a year and 2 months.
Yeah,
a year and 2 months today.
Yes. Yep.
So Beckham, where you're the football fan, any thoughts on this?
I mean, I don't know if that was a joke about the bowl of cocaine like they used to be in the 70s at Capitol Records, so they would just sit the bowl out. Whoever came walked in and was just whatever. It was just free for all, right? So I mean, Danny, come on. You're an adult. You've been an adult for a long time.
Have I?
You you know what you're getting. You know the chances you take when you decide to try something or do something, or the choices you make, man. It's unfortunate. If this was the 80s, they in the 90s and early 2000s, they would have been fine, I'm pretty sure. But drugs are no longer the same as what they used to be. They're cut different. I guess you could say they're manufactured different now. It's a dangerous game that you're playing now when you're even smoking and even trying some regular old weed nowadays from a drug dealer, not the government stuff. You're taking a chance. You literally are. Whether you're 15 and trying it for the first time, or you're 38 or 39 years, or how old were these guys? 30, late 30s. So
38, 37.
Doesn't matter. Age doesn't even matter anymore. It could take your life, unfortunately. Again, like it had been the 80s, 90s, 2000s, they would have probably just been fine.
Becca, are you talking from experience?
No, never done those drugs ever.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I actually, right before COVID, the guy my husband used to buy from moved out of state. And he was kind of like, I'm going to have to find somebody else. But then he got a medical card, which is legit. Like, he has a legit reason for it. And he's like, honestly, this is the best thing that I could have done because it's controlled and he's buying it. He's saving the tax money because he has a medical card. And honestly, the place he buys it at up where we live is cheaper than what he used to pay like on the street. But that just, it was kind of scary. I'm like, you have to find somebody else that you're not going to know to like buy. I don't know.
Liz is talking about marijuana before people think like, oh, did her husband go buy cocaine?
Yes, the legal cocaine.
Could you please explain that again, Liz? Because you kind of came out strong a little bit and unclear.
Yeah, her husband, I can also back up. Her husband was not buying cocaine or fentanyl. So.
I mean, he probably wasn't.
God.
No, but yes, unless it's governed by the government or whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
Right, you don't know 100% what you're.
Yes, you don't know, man. It's sad. It's actually sad, but that's the truth. And it doesn't. Age has no barrier. You could be. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Age.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. You guys in the chat are kind of at different opinions for dispensaries, which I mean, you can have it delivered here. Yeah, you can have it delivered. Yeah, there's signs where we are about delivery too. Dispensaries are so expensive. They should just make it legal. Weed delivery in Vegas. They take all damn day. Capone, I think you're projecting that you've waited quite a while for your purchase.
Now, I have a question. Do you order, if you're going to DoorDash it, do you order food just because you're going to get the munchies later? Do you do like 2 for 1?
I don't know, Beckham.
I'm just saying, could you make a McDonald's run while you're at it just for later?
Oh God, just put it all on the Uber tab.
Yeah, the DoorDash tab.
Here in Virginia, they have dispensaries too. Yeah, you guys are talking. Yeah, this is one of those top. Yeah, but I mean, Beckham made a really good point in regards to we're not victim blaming. We're not. At the end of the day,
I'm not saying.
But when you.
I don't judge.
When you choose to partake, you run a risk. I'm sure that because if I recall, Jordan was a researcher. What was it? He did like HIV research or something like that. It was something where he had I'm totally blanking the words on the tip of my tongue. But point is, I'm sure that his friends would have thought they can trust whatever he is providing. But you, like Beckham said, you don't really 100% know. And Ivory Carson, that name's new to me. We knew Jordan Willis was the one who survived because he was in the house. But that was whole kind of shady in regards to him sleeping 3 days, changing his story. Ivory Carson, I'm like, okay, so who is this? So I think there's more that needs to be. And maybe there is a lot and I just haven't got to finding out more about Ivory. So pay enough and they will deliver it naked. Renee, do you have a was those Ring doorbell? Is there any footage you want to send me? Asking for a friend, right, Liz? Okay. Remember the Girl Scout that was set up outside it? That is smart business. Yeah.
That was genius. Absolute genius.
Oh my God.
My husband would have been taken for every amount of cash in our bank account if that happened up here.
Oh my God. That is
the Girl Scout cookies. Yeah. That was an excellent business decision.
Thanks, Tony.
The lemon ones are really good, man. The lemon, they're called lemon something.
No, the peanut butter ones.
Those are good too. Yeah, the peanut butter ones are good too. Yeah, the lemon. I like the peanut butter and the lemon, whatever they're called. Yeah.
Those lemon ones are newer. I've refused to try the newer ones because they're not the old ones that I sold when I was growing up, but they're good actually.
So your girl back in the day was a Girl Scout. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. And I used to have to, that was when you went door to door knocking with that damn spreadsheet.
Did you get the medals that you attached to your beret?
Oh, we got badges. And we sewed them. And
on a sash. A beret is a hat.
Right.
Yeah, I thought you guys wore the hats too. No,
I didn't.
Maybe back in the day, but not back in our day.
No.
Oh, okay.
Now, oh my God, what when coworkers are like,
when would you have time to go do this? Like in between 5 and 7?
When you get home from school.
I was gonna say because the dangerous times, man. Like girls walking around the neighborhood by themselves. Or your parents go with you?
Yeah, mine did.
Okay, good.
I grew up in an apartment complex, so it was absolutely perfect. I was kind of shy, so sometimes I wouldn't want to just go cold call people. But once I got going, I usually got pretty good sales. And the complex was safe. But again, different time. The 90s. Very different.
And they were cheaper. Now, I have coworkers, oh, my grandkids are selling. And I'm like, oh, how much for a box? And I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to take a mortgage just to buy a few boxes.
Okay, how much does the box cost now?
I feel like it's $8.
Yeah. Something like that.
So $20 gets you only 2, but you go through them pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty damn quick. They don't last long here.
$3 when I sold them.
So I'm like, okay, that goes quick. Never mind.
Hello, James.
Damn it. Now I wish we still had some Girl Scout cookies. I think we're out.
Y'all stop.
I swear to God, y'all had the hats. I don't know why I keep picturing it, but I guess y'all were too cool to wear the hat. Y'all were too cool to wear the hat.
So I don't know if if hot tip for everybody, and it might just be here where I am. Stop and Shop does a Stop and Shop brand cookie. They do dupes of the Girl Scout cookies. They look exactly the same. They taste exactly the same. They're like $2 or $3 a box.
Dude, the best thing ever that I found were the little white donuts thingies.
Oh, Liz. He never had munchkins until he came to visit.
Dude,
him
that
and
is
Shelly.
the powdered ones. Oh
Dunkin'
my!
Donuts
That's
munchkins.
best. That's better than any cookie thing. Whatever. Those are the best.
They don't have donut holes in the rest of the country?
They're hard to find here.
Really? Weird.
Unless
they're
go,
delicious.
Unless I go and I miss the morning rush and they take them all.
Probably. Yeah. Liz, when we all went to the haunted mansion with Auntie Mimi, we stopped at Dunk's on the way, and Beckham got his own box of the sugar powder when he ate them all.
I was like, what the hell? And then I went, and then I stopped, and I flew back, and I'm like, I found a Dunkin' Donuts at the airport on my way out, and I was excited because I thought they would have some. They didn't.
They didn't. Huh.
Because I was going to get me someone, go on the way home.
You probably don't have a Dunk's on every street corner too that you could check. I do.
There's a few, but I've gone to a couple of them, and they didn't have any. So I don't, like I said, I might have missed the rush or something.
That's disappointing.
They're good.
Look at me. I bet you were all fun to party with. Oh.
I mean, our partying is we sit around with the cats and like talk shit about people. So if you think that's fun,
I think that's amazing.
Yes. That's my kind of partying.
Oh God. All right, we just went over the 2-hour mark, folks. Oh my God.
There's a Dunkin' downstairs. Where are you staying, Capone? MGM?
He's at Virgin.
Oh, nice. I was like, no. I was like, MGM doesn't have Dunkin'. Neither does New York, New York. I don't think New York has one.
I didn't know Vegas had a Dunkin' Donuts. That is good to know. That is good to know. Because, yeah, Starbucks is pricey. Trust me, I know. I know way too well. All right, folks, let's wind it down. There has been, we talked a lot. There was a lot of cases this week. So thanks for sticking around for all of that. For those who were late, Beckham, if you missed my announcement, so Danny After Dark is on Cameo now. So purchase a video for yourself, for a friend, for a family member, for your pet. Whatever's fine.
How much would it cost me to get one every day from you? Wish you like, good morning, you're the best. Go get him, Tiger.
I'm raising. Okay, so
I was going to say you could charge a lot for that.
I would charge a lot more for that.
For 5 days a week, like 5 days, has to be new video. Good morning, Beckham. You're the best. Go get him, Tiger.
I think you need to charge like $500
so
per
funny.
30-second video.
I was about to say $100 a day, but I'm with Liz. Yeah. $500 for that.
Ramp that shit up.
There's no OnlyFans for Danny, I assure you. There, no. And then also, Liz had reminded me to let everybody know about the True Crime Podcast Festival in July, and I'll post more about it. That's going to be here in Massachusetts. It says Boston, but it's really going to be in Danvers, Massachusetts, which is just north of Boston. But I will have a table there, so very exciting. So it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday convention. And
when is
I'll
it?
be there with other podcasters.
When?
Is it July 18th, 19th, 20th?
Yeah.
Why doesn't Salem do more crime?
18th, 19th.
Or do they just hold the whole witch thing? That is their
they don't need to. There's so much other gimmicky shit. That's what I was asking. There's all the legit history. Yeah.
So they do other stuff besides the witch stuff.
There's like ghost tours. There's people that are interested in the actual history, of the area. Okay. The seaport history and whatever.
Why, Becca? Are you coming back to visit?
You mean the red coats were real, right?
I mean, yeah.
Becca wants to have a Cold Sam Adams across the street from a Cold Sam Adams.
I do. That was great.
Yeah, Liz was not there for that. So, that was on the duck tour that we did it from the seaport.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, boy. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the True Crime and Chill. We'll be back next week for a regular episode early in the week, and then True Crime and Chill end of next week. Thank you so much again to Beckham and especially Liz. It has been a while since you've been here, so thank you so much for coming back on. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me back. It's super fun.
And the Karen Reed trial is supposed to start April 1st, so
that's right.
I'm sure, Liz, I can confidently say you'll be back a bit more because there will be a lot to talk about.
Yeah. I hope I haven't burned out. I feel like I followed the first one so carefully, and now there has to be a whole other one, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, and it's now it's just crazy with Brennan and missed bills. Paid bills, or I don't know. Receipts.
Oh, God.
I will definitely be watching that, though.
Yeah. All right, Capone, I will. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening. And remember, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.